Oh. Whoops. All right. Is that good enough? Okay. Sure. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Hello again. This is Momodora, Reverie under the Moonlight. This is the 100% easy category. Easy means that we have a ton of hit points, and we're probably never going to die, hopefully. And 100% means that we're going to get a whole bunch of collectibles that are strewn about in the game. So the two collectibles that we're going to be going for are the ivory bugs and the vitality fragments. Both of them don't really help us all that much. As for tech in this game, you're going to see me doing these roll jumps. Roll jumps combine a roll. Oh, that was close. Combine a roll and a jump together, and it just helps us go a little faster in areas where there's not a whole lot going on. Where there's like little ledges. Roll jumps are a one-frame input, which just hitting two buttons at the same time, so it's not the worst thing in the world. As for our main protagonist, Kaho, we have a bow, we've got a leaf, and that's about it for the game. We're going to be going through the Sacred Redalia Grove. This is the worst area in the game. I'll let you know that right now. These imps are just like extremely random. They can toss knives whenever they want. They can jump. Oh, I missed. Okay, that was a bad shot on my part. They can jump around at their own will, and it makes for a really difficult part of the game. That's my first ivory bug. That's one of 20. I believe there are also 17 or 19 vitality fragments, like this one over here. And you're going to see me doing that a lot in the run.
So, since this is easy mode, I believe you already start out the game with max health. So, even if you're picking up the extra health upgrades, you won't actually have your health increase.
I can't believe I made that room. So you're seeing me getting all of these chests because we're trying to get 80 money so we can buy an item once we leave the Sacred Redalia Grove. But I'm going to talk about the boss. Actually, I'll let Tolu talk about the boss first. And I am going for the...
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, you can get a quick kill on this boss, but your positioning needs to be very, very precise. And, oh wait, are you... Oh, okay, I've never seen this setup before. Oh, I think this is safer. Okay.
Yeah, it's the safer one.
Okay. A lot of really good hits. Alright, cool. That was a pretty good boss fight.
Yeah.
Woo! So what he did there at the beginning of the fight was activate his fairy, which you can do with, I believe it's up, down, left, right. I think that's it. Anyway, it's like a series of inputs. And it spawns a fairy that shoots a bunch of lasers on the screen, like randomly. And sometimes, for that one boss in particular, her weak point is actually her tail. I think like all hits on her tail deal like 2.5 times the normal damage.
Yeah,
so.
something like that. So another interesting thing about that fight was that I did it without getting hit. And when you don't get hit, you get a special boss item, which we're going to be trying to get for the rest of the bosses. I'm going to take a safety save here too, because this next boss can be pretty brutal.
Yeah, the item you get from the next boss is probably one of the most important, so you really don't want to miss out on it. Mocha kind of hops around a little bit erratically, He's usually mostly predictable, as long as you hit him with a certain combo.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, that was, wow. Okay. Yeah, you were about to get hit there.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this boss. Isn't she nice?
She's got real big eyes.
She has like this weird hole in her throat. I don't know what the deal is with that.
That was also where I was looking.
Alright, so the item you get from that boss, from doing that boss perfectly is the Backman patch. And it's a cast spell, so
Yeah.
you sort of hold yourself in place while you cast it. And it like spawns like a whole wall of projectiles on the screen that do tons of damage. And those projectiles can also like trigger switches, which is very useful later on in the game. Oh yeah, and this guy just gets completely bodied by that.
Obliterated. That's so good. One of the significances of like using that item there too is that we open up this illusory wall so we can get that ivory
nice.
bug. It's just a small little time save.
Yeah, if you haven't seen or haven't noticed already, this game is pretty heavily inspired, I guess, from the Dark Souls games. You have your, you have your roll, your, basic melee attack. And the roll basically works the same way as in Dark Souls. If you roll through something at the beginning, you are invincible during the roll.
We've actually taken quite a different path from the any percent route. Generally, where I went to fight that soldier, I would go down to the subterranean graves, and we'd go fight Frida, but we're actually going to take a much more difficult route and go straight to the heretical arsonists, so that we can get the dash movement, which is going to make this run a little better, because it's going to help us get a lot of ivory bugs that we wouldn't otherwise be able to get. So the Cinder Chambers, you're going to see a lot more of this once I have to come back. But we're allowed to go straight to the boss, which is pretty cool. It's sort of built like vertically. But once we kill this boss, we have to scale it back up. And it makes for some of the coolest movement in the game, so watch out for that. But this is the Heretical Arsonist. And I'll let Tolu talk about this one too.
Yeah, so she throws around this orb attack right here, and she'll teleport to the orbs, and you want to get out of the way as soon as you see that. One thing that's really annoying about this fight is that you have your partner here, Kath. Sometimes she can like do pretty decent damage, but like sometimes she'll get hit a bunch and not really do too much. And yeah, the fastest way to kill this boss is really just to stay at range and shoot her a bunch. Sometimes you can get melee combos off and get charge arrows off, but it depends on her pattern.
Yeah, she wasn't being too nice to me. Sometimes when she just walks straight up to you, it's the best pattern you can get for doing a lot of melee attacks, but she just wouldn't allow it, but that's fine. So over here we're going to get a crest fragment, and we're now going to be able to dash, which is going to be our fastest form of movement for a little while. The dash is going to be really cool in this area. Actually, we're going to be able to do a nice little trick here.
So yeah, every crest fragment you get after one of the main bosses, you need four crest fragments to unlock like the last couple of areas in the game. And they also give you an ability like SNeeaaky described.
So starting from here, we're going to see some really cool stuff. It's just it's pure movement for about a minute and a half. So
for ladders, it's faster to climb them by sort of jumping and grabbing repeatedly. These spike balls do like a ton of damage, but since this is easy mode, it's less of a big deal if you get hit by them.
Yeah, we have a nice setup where we can get through them without getting hit. I unfortunately didn't follow it very well. And you can die on easy if you get hit by all of those. It's pretty brutal, but you shouldn't. This gets a lot harder on the normal and hard difficulties. Mostly this part, because of just how many things are trying to kill you. Oh no. So now we're going to get out of the Cinder Chambers, and we're going to be in the White Leaf Memorial Park, where we're going to meet our best friend Lubella again. And wow, ladybirds, please. We're going to do a little bit of a sequence break here. Normally we go to the subterranean graves and get the garden key that allows us to go into this area, and then we unlock that block from the inside. But because we have the backing patch, we can use it to hit this lever that's in this elevator. And now we don't need to get the garden key anymore. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave the long way when we get out of here, but that's fine. So I'm going to prime my crystal seed.
Guess who it is? Hey!
Hopefully she doesn't die. Of course you're gonna die.
Oh, she died.
Yeah. She still took an incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, Lubella is probably one of the worst bosses in this game when it comes to really bad patterns.
Luckily for us, we don't actually have to kill her without getting hit, because she only gives you, I think it's the Passiflora, which revives, it gives you all your HP back. So we don't really need it for the run, because it doesn't really help us. But if we had to, this would be a really, really bad fight. Just because she has so many attacks that hit so many parts of the stage, and you have to roll around a lot.
Hey, you're a cat now.
Yeah, so I'm a cat now. Because why not? And we're going to do some even cooler movement now, because we have the cat that runs faster, can get into places that human Caho, which is our protagonist, can't get into.
Yeah, you can pretty much do anything in cat form that you can in human form, except for climbing ladders and using items, basically.
Which I think is absolute garbage, because cats can totally climb ladders. So now we're going to go back to the Cinder Chambers again. But we're not going to do the full up-down thing. We're just going to go east a little bit so that we can get to the Forlorn Monastery. And then we're going to do a little bit of backtracking, if I remember the route properly. So there's a Vitality Fragment over here, and this is probably the most dangerous one to get, because you can get hit by these ladybirds as you're taking it, and they will just knock you straight off the platform, and it's a really bad time. But we got that, we're all good. So I actually have the right amount of ivory bugs right now, which I'm surprised at myself for. I think we're gonna get our 9th here. If we don't get our 9th here, then this is bad. All right, good. And this is ladder boss. I believe it's between 67 and 70 jumps to get up ladder boss.
Dude, I'm sweating. This is way too tense.
This is the hardest part of the game, man. There we go. So, we're going to do some backtracking to the Sacred Ordalia Grove and into the Frore Ciel so that we can get the crest fragment that lets us warp around from different bells. And I'm going to do something, well, I'll talk about it when I get there. Right now we're just going to clean up house a little bit, get some fragments that we didn't get. So I don't think I ever actually explained this form of movement. We talked about the roll jump, but when you're a cat and you do a roll jump, you kind of fall off at the end of a jump. So we do an attack so that we don't go slow, and then we dash because that's like a super fast form of movement. I believe I was told by one of our community members that if I got this trick, he would donate 20 bucks. So, oh my God, that is so much harder than it looks. So that's what people have called the sneaky step, where you make it up this vertical elevator thing, and you have to do this like specific movement to get up it, because if you miss it, you lose about 7 seconds. And it was something that we actually never thought that we could do until I did it in the most rancid way possible, and then people cleaned it up for me.
So yeah, now you can warp from certain save points here.
So another interesting thing.
Do we have time for donations?
Yeah.
So Palacer gives $10 and says, here's a down payment for that sneaky step, another $10 for doing it the first time, winky face. Thank you, Palacer. And he gives another $10 and says, first try sneaky step, there's the rest of it. Happy face. Thank you, Palacer, second time.
Yo, thank you, Palacer.
That's a lot of $10.
So now we're following the any percent route where we go into the subterranean graves. But now we have the cat, and we also have the dash, and we don't need the garden key anymore. So we do a lot of dashing in water, which is gonna look a little ridiculous. And
I don't-
bad. Why?
I don't think I've ever seen that cutscene where you're just in cat form and you drop out of nowhere and this lady is like, oh my God, what's going on? Yeah, usually you enter that cutscene as a human form. But like all the cutscenes in this game are the same, whether like your form doesn't matter, which is kind of, it looks weird sometimes, like in that one.
You know what? I'm gonna take that just in case. Yeah, there are some weird things that can happen with the animations in this game. If you pick up a crest fragment while jumping, sometimes there will be two of you. If you pick up a crest fragment as a cat, and on like, if you leave...
Why did... Never mind.
Oh,
it's fine.
Did I do that wrong? I should have went down, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, if you pick up a crest fragment, and as you're doing the animation where you're picking it up, you leave a screen, you just disappear, and it's really strange. And then you didn't actually get the crest fragment either. Oh no. Okay, I was supposed to skip her, but I missed it.
Yeah, you can skip that enemy spawn if you like jump over a certain area. So yeah, this is Frida. I start out the fight by using a bunch of backhand patches, using the crystal seed to boost your damage, and then just going into the corner and shooting arrows. And going into the corner and shooting arrows actually, even though you can do more damage with melee, it's actually the better way is to just shoot her down, because if you're actually close to her, she'll be more likely to teleport away and lose a bunch of time.
So we're doing some more backtracking now, because there are a couple of things here that we need to get as the cat. And then after this, it's going to be pure progression. So we got a vitality fragment. I think there's another vitality fragment and an ivory bug that we need to pick up.
The crystal you pick up from Frida, I believe, is what is it? Third stage charge?
No, it's the quick charge.
Okay, it's faster charge. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, now your arrows will, your arrow charge will charge slightly faster, which is pretty useful.
So now we're gonna go meet the cat lady, Cotillard, who's gonna give us the monastery key so we can fight our next boss. Right after we get this vitality fragment. See if you can guess how many cats there are on the screen.
Isn't it different every single time?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, they're all yellow cats. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
That's actually really weird. Yeah,
Wow.
usually they're different colors.
Incredible.
So say hi to Choir because we're going to be seeing her later. She's a really tough boss. So this is going to be Partner Fennel, right after we do some Ivory Bug stuff. I think everyone agrees that she has possibly the best animations and some of the best music in the game, but she gets absolutely obliterated. Oh wait, whoops.
So the way you start this fight, pretty standard. You manip her to sort of lure out a couple attacks, and then while she's buffing, you cast Backman, and then she's dead.
So this is actually one of the areas you can get the disappearing cat. But we still haven't really found a use. I think it's just completely a graphical glitch, but it looks really silly when you get it. Now that we have all the crest fragments, we can get into the Royal Pinacoteca. We're gonna see the rest of the bosses are pretty difficult from here on now. One because of RNG, one because of how much damage it can do, and one because there's a really cool setup for it that is really hard to do.
Yeah, if you don't quick kill the next boss with the setup, there really isn't a great backup to it, so you lose a lot of time.
This is another area that has some really cool platforming. You're going to see some really fast things as we go into the more vertical part.
Shoutouts to YV. Blah, blah.
Oh, what? That little Frida head got really aggressive for some reason. Actually getting really close to the last ivory bugs that we have to collect in the game. And then this area, hopefully we get this cool cycle. Oh, well, I got hit. Oh, and I got hit again.
Yeah, that room is very hard to actually execute properly.
Taking a safety save before this boss because I really want the heavy arrows, which is the item that it drops. I'll probably try to get them twice. I'll see if I can actually get them, but it all depends on how this boss treats me.
Yeah, if you don't get the next item from this boss, heavy arrows, I think it pretty much doubles your arrow damage, which is a really, really big deal. This looks good.
I forgot my
nice.
Are you gonna...
Okay, just one thread. Nice. Wow, that was really close, actually.
That was really close.
If you would have delayed that a little bit more, you would have gotten hit. Nice. That boss fight's actually really hard.
Yeah, Lupiar, what I could have done was dashed behind her and used my tainted, or not tainted, my sparse thread on her and killed her quicker, but I just wanted to take it a little safe, because that would lose me a lot of time. The boss right after Magnolia is really, really easy if you know where he's going to appear. Oh, what? There we go. See ya, turtle. Oh, what am I doing?
Oh man. Wait, did you save before?
Yeah, I saved you.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah. That was weird. There's an invisible platform where there's the ivory bug, but I didn't realize how small it was. So I kind of just walked off it, which is unfortunate, but it's not so bad. That's what I wanted to do. There we go.
So I believe even though you're collecting all the ivory bugs, you aren't actually turning them in.
No, I'm not going to turn them in.
Yeah.
We're just picking them up for the sake of having the 20 on 20. Yeah, I'll talk about that. 100% isn't really 100% in this game. It's more of like a community decision. True 100% would take a really long time because, well, not a really long time, but it would. There's a lot of really useless stuff that you would have to get, like buying items from all of the vendors that are just hidden throughout. There's a small quest where you have to get this disgusting imp, a mushroom, and just like a whole bunch of silly stuff like that. So we just opted to get the collectibles, and that was it, and do all the bosses. So that's the Momodora 100%. That's not really a true 100%.
So SNeeaaky just picked up an item beneath the well there. And that's the leaf upgrade. And apart from being, like actually being a melee damage upgrade, it's the item that allows you to get the good ending in this game.
Oh, whoops.
Which is basically the, like if you don't actually get that item, you don't get to the credits, so we don't really consider like a run of this game without that item to be an actual run, since you don't really finish the game because you don't get credits. But yeah, this is Squar. She is a really kind of crazy bullet hell boss, as you can see. But at this point, you already have so many items that you just kind of bully her a lot.
Yeah, Archie's Choir, she deals a lot of damage, which is the really scary part about her. So if you miss a setup at all, you can die even on easy, which is kind of scary to say. So now we're gonna go back to Karst Castle, and we're gonna finish off the game. We're gonna get our last ivory bug, and I believe our last like 3 vitality fragments. And we've got 2 bosses left. Whoops. So a neat thing about the Karst Castle is that literally everything wants to kill you, and there's a lot of everything. But we're gonna meet one of our friends, well, one of our dear friends, I guess, as we go up this area. She had it really bad in battle, but we kind of don't care. You'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, wow, okay. That backman just had like a crazy long arm there for some reason. That grenade doesn't always go there. So there's Kath. Kath is just kind of dead and on the floor. You can technically choose to kill her or leave her to die, and then you'll get her items. But they're not really important to us. So now we're coming up to a wonderful boss, which is the Blue Fairy. The Blue Fairy spawns multiple Blue Fairies, and the lowest one to the ground is the one that we want to kill. It's kind of like clones. Hopefully they don't spawn too far from me. Okay, that's great. I think I'm too close though. Yeah.
You were slightly a bit too close there.
That's probably you. All right. So yeah, it takes 2 sparse threads and 2 melee attacks to kill it. Here's our last ivory bug. I hope I have all the vitality fragments. And now we're going to the Queen of Karst, which is our final boss. After we take this long elevator ride. I'll try to talk about the Queen of Karst before it happens, because there's quite a bit that goes on. Phase 1 is very difficult because there's a very small window in which you have to get your like 3-shot volley in. And if you don't get it, you don't get to use your Tainted Missive for the second phase of the fight. And if you don't get that, then the fight's just really slow. So we're going to see if we can get this volley off. Hopefully we do. So we're going to Tainted Missive. Charge up our arrows. Is that enough? No. Yeah, I didn't get it because I got hit. Now if she gives me... That's good. So luckily I got a good second attack, so I should be able to kill her pretty easily here. Yeah. And now we're on to phase 3. So phase 3 is the phase that you get when you get the green leaf upgrade. This gets you the good ending. Momodora games usually have 2 endings, like a happy one and a sad one. This one unfortunately just has like 2 sad endings. And that's time.
Nice. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh. Nice. Thanks, Tolu, for commentating. That was really, really helpful. Thank you for having me. That's my last run for tonight. I'm probably going to go to sleep.
Oh, I forgot to say, anime sucks.
Okay, so next online we have